Hit it? There you go.
We are live.
Excellent.
I did it. I pushed the button.
Well done. We're back.
And I hear you twice. So which one do I
we usually keep
off?
Mimo.
Yeah, just Mimo. So when if I
So
can
you
mute you.
Yeah.
All right. So let's see. Al isn't here for roll call.
Oh.
Come on. Japan got up early just for this. All right, Al. I'm going to do roll call. Am I authorized? I believe Jason is second in command on roll call. There we go. He's got it. That's good. We've got Kevin and Bill and Bruce and Jason and Frank and Jill and John and Rose and Mike and Rick and Sandy and Steve and Michael. Anybody in the snoozing in the sidebar? I saw Rose come in, so she's here. Let's see. Yep, I think that's everybody. So the before and after thing I was doing was Pat Dangler had a client who was a voiceover artist, and she used this for muffling her voice for doing reading audiobooks. And so she gave it to me. It is giant, and I know Kevin will think this is the preferred way for me to do the show.
That's great.
It might make it a little bit hard for me to see the show notes. Technically, I can get it here, but you guys said you can't tell any difference between this and this. So this is without the sound thing, and this is with the sound thing. Can you tell a difference? Now that you can see it, can you hear a difference? No difference in my voice. I might try recording with it just for fun, but it might be because I'm too high up. I think it actually has to be like this. I don't know. All right, let's see. We did a playback test without you, Steve.
Good.
Yeah,
I was
think
detained.
This is just going to annoy me. I can't reach my Wave XLR. We'll put it there to make it look like I'm a professional in the background.
It's real bangy, too.
Is it?
Well, when you hit the mic with it, it is.
Oh, okay. There's Al. Jason went ahead and let off roll call without you there, Al. But he did a pretty good job. It wasn't bad. All right. What do I have open here? What is all this junk? Let's get rid of some of this stuff here. Little distractions. All right. I think we are, assuming my mic is recording into here. Let me just do a little mic check here. Hi, this is Allison Sheridan of the NosillaCast podcast, hosted at podfeet.com. Make sure that's right. Hi, this is Allison Sheridan of the NosillaCast podcast, hosted. It's beautiful.
Everyone hear that in that playback in the in Discord? Good.
Let's make some sausage.
Thank you.
Rick.
Time for sausage. Good.
It's surprising that there isn't more sausage today, Steve.
Yep.
All right. Should we hit it?
Yeah. You're going to be muting me.
It's not going to be a long
right?
show.
I don't have to. I don't have to self-mute. You're going to mute.
No, I can mute you. I enjoy it. Gives me a feeling of power. It's still early, Podfeet. Yeah. Don't tempt the sausage gods, right? All right. Here we go. Muting Steve. Hi, this is Allison Sheridan of the NosillaCast podcast, hosted at podfeet.com, a technology geek podcast with an slight Apple bias. Today is Sunday, March 27th, 2022, and this is show number 881. Well, we've got a packed show this week with lots of good fun, so let's dig right in. Guess who's the guest of Chit Chat Across the Pond this week? Yes, it's Jill from the North Woods.
Woohoo! Spring break.
Michael, I think you just go out and get postcards and send us those pictures. That's not possible. That's real life.
That is pretty.
All right, here we go. Oh, wait, my Hindi button. Copy link. It's not doing the second beep. Still need to go diagnose that, but don't need it. Man, I'm being silly. What did you do now, Jill? Oh, that was dumb. Why did I do that? There we go. Okay, so Jill from the North Woods. Nope, not selected. This week on Chit Chat Across the Pond, we have Jill from the North Woods back on the show. She's the host of the delightful and inspiring Start with Small Steps podcast at smallstepspod.com. She decided a few years ago that she wanted to switch from Windows to the Mac. I was a little bit of an enabler on this, so I've been watching her adventure with great interest. She recently made the final hard switchover, and I thought it'd be interesting for you to hear her story. She talks about why she wanted to switch in the first place. That part wasn't my fault. How she decided to switch, challenges she's had with hardware and software, and how she has finally accomplished the switch. Talking to Jill is always delightful, and this is no exception. So go check out Chit Chat Across the Pond or Chit Chat Across the Pond Lite in your podcatcher of choice. It's not, the first part wasn't my fault, right, Jill?
Fault?
Save. I did. Fault, yes. Okay.
She
the
says it
next
was.
Part, it was. Jill. I think Jill might be on Kevin's team some days. I'm not sure. Oh, well, that was interesting. Have you guys heard of, is it called Unclutter? Shoot, I think it's called Unclutter. It's an app that I don't completely understand yet, but it has a big banner that comes down from the top. The developer said, pay whatever you want for Unclutter, and I'll give the money to help Ukraine. And so I paid an absurd amount of money to get the app. I don't know if I'll ever use it, but it just invoked itself. It all of a sudden came flying down when I pressed the grumpy button, so I got to figure out what I did.
So when it unclutters, it just clears your desktop.
No, it's a way of keeping files, like instead of keeping your files on your desktop and you shove them up there, it's got a clipboard manager. But I assigned a keystroke to it, and I don't remember which one I did.
The grumpy button.
Oh, okay. I see. Jill says it's I was the enabler because she listened to this podcast and heard all the neat things you could do. That's true. I'll give you that one. Okay, I am actually going to read a blog post here. Where'd it go? There it is. All right, here we go. Oh, Steve self-muted. In late 2020, I told you about a tool called Folga from folga.me that is designed to simplify the process of creating tutorial guides with annotated screenshots and text explanations, and then exporting them into a nicely formatted document. This was the replacement we'd all been looking for when our beloved Clarify was discontinued. When I reviewed Folga, I described a few things that didn't work quite the way I wanted them to, but I said that overall it came through on its promise. I also told you that the developer, Oleksiy Srebiny, was the most enthusiastic developer I have ever met. He loves to have people give him feedback on how the app works and what they'd like to see improved or enhanced. I've been using Folga off and on over the last year and a half, and it's improved so much over this time that I decided it was worthy of my next Screencast Online video tutorial. I just wrapped up the production of my video tutorial on Folga, and it's off in the editor's hands right now. I'll definitely tell you when it's published, but I wanted to tell you a bit more about how well it works and what improvements have been made, and I wanted to tell you a short story. When I decided to do a tutorial on a tool, when I decide to do it on any tool, I always write the developers to warn them. I explained to them first that the Screencast Online audience is a very valuable audience because they are willing to pay to learn about tools, so that makes them more likely to pay to buy tools. After I give them this carrot, then I give them the warning that I expect to get a very rapid response to any questions or problems I might send to them during production. I felt kind of funny sending that email to Oleksiy since he's so very responsive to anyone who writes to him, but I thought he'd be tickled to hear that I was doing a video tutorial on Folga. Oddly, Oleksiy didn't write back for quite some time. And by quite some time, I mean 3 days. That is an eternity compared to his usual response time. But what he wrote back after 3 days broke my heart. He wrote, "Hi, Allison. Sorry for not answering you before. As you might have heard, Russia has invaded my country. And even though I'm located in Germany, I had to bring my parents here from Ukraine and help with a lot of different things, so my head was busy with other things. I had no idea that Alexei was Ukrainian, and in fact, I'd assumed he was German since he named his tool Folge after the German word for follow. He went on to actually answer the few questions I had written him and closed off by saying, "Sorry for a very short letter. I'm very tired now. Best, Alexei." I couldn't believe he took the time to write back to me when he was going through pretty much the most horrible situation imaginable. After a few days, he wrote back again and told me things were going relatively well for him and that his family is doing okay and that he was ready for more questions and he hoped to help with anything I needed. Again, I was floored. I told you that story because I want you to consider buying Folge, not just to support Alexei at this horrific time, but also because it's a very useful tool. Folge is not a subscription with a one-time cost of $70 US or 60 euro. There's a free trial with most of the functionality in which you can create 3 guides to see if it's as useful to you as it is to me. If you find yourself making tutorial guides for friends, family, or coworkers, and if you pull your hair out trying to make them look good in Word or PowerPoint, this might be the tool you need. If your time and sanity are worth anything at all, Folge is well worth the price. I use Folge for many things, not just teaching other people, but also for documenting things I want to remember how to do myself. I've documented my settings for the live show with Folge. I've documented how to get money out of my flexible spending account. I've documented how to view folder sizes on the Synology because I can never remember how to do these things. After the changeover to the new server, I used Folge to redocument the new settings in Feeder, the application that brings the podcast feed to you. If I ever lose that info, you would never hear the show again. Now, hopefully I've sold you on how useful Folge is and the kind of things I use it for, so now let's walk through how it works and what works even better than the last time I told you about this application. The main idea of Folge is that you create what are called guides. Your guides are all stored in a library in the Folge interface, and you can organize your guides into folders now. Guides are made up of screenshots, annotations on those screenshots, titles, and text instructions. You could approach the creating a guide using different methods. You could create a series of empty steps where you outline what you plan to demonstrate. You'd give each step a title and write out an explanation. Then you could go through and add screenshots or any kind of image to each step by taking simple screenshots one at a time with Folge or importing pre-existing images. You could do it that way, but I don't think that's the most efficient process. A much better way to create a guide is to take a series of screenshots one after another while you go through the steps you want to demonstrate. If you do it in this way, you stay in the flow of the process and you're much less likely to skip a step. Folge has a very interesting way of letting you do this. Folge lets you capture screenshots with mouse clicks to take screenshots in rapid succession. There's a setting to changing it to capture with a mouse click plus a modifier key. For example, I use shift click. I like to have the modifier key for my mouse clicks because I want to be very intentional about which clicks capture an image. After you select a region to capture, you get a little floating window that shows you how many captures you've done so far. After you take each screenshots, you can see a thumbnail of the image and a magnifier sort of like Quick Look. If you like it, keep it. Or if it wasn't quite right, you've got a trash can right on the floating window and you can keep on going. You can pause taking screenshots to change the capture area and then start back up again. Or you can hit the finish button to see your screenshots assembled in the guide. Now, the real power of Folge is the annotations and text elements for your guides. There's something delightful about the way the annotations work, I should say. You know how in Preview, if you had a rectangular box, okay, that's too many voice O's in a row. I don't want to. Now, the real power of Folge, let's start right back there. Frank's here. Now, the real power of Folge is the annotations and text elements for your guides. There's something delightful about the way annotations work in Folge. You know how in Preview, if you had a rectangular box, it just kind of plops it on screen and you have to move it around and drag all the corners? With Folge, if you select the rectangle tool, you simply click and drag to the exact area you want the annotation. You don't have to move anything around. You've got ovals and lines and arrows and text, which are pretty much table stakes for annotations, and you can easily change the colors and line thicknesses of those items, and you can add drop shadows. Now, Folge has one of the things I missed most with the loss of Clarify, and that's little number bubbles. Having numbers right where action needs to be taken is great if paired with a numbered list in the text explanation. I asked Alexi if he could add a feature, a long time ago I asked him this, where if you, say, clicked 3 times, getting numbered bubbles for 1, 2, and 3, but then you went back and deleted number 2, could bubble number 3 change to a 2? Since I talked to you last about Folga, he has added that feature. Now, there are a few bugs to be squashed in the numbered bubbles right now, like if you increase the font of the number, it can outgrow its own bubble. Alexi has that on his to-do list to fix that. However, you can always drag the drag handles of the numbered bubble to increase its size. It's a little bit of a workaround. What are you so clumsy for? Now, there are a few bugs. Now, there are a few bugs to be squashed in the numbered bubbles right now. Like if you increase the font of the number, it can outgrow its bubble. You can always drag the drag handles of the numbered bubble to increase the size, but that's kind of a bit of a workaround because you won't be able to replicate exactly how big you made it for the other bubbles on the same page. I'm not worried about this bug though because I told Alexi about it and I know he will fix it. You can't say that with confidence with most developers. Another essential annotation tool is the blur tool, and the one in Folga works exactly as I'd hope. It allows you to change the area over which you've blurred and to change how blurry it is. That's important because you want it blurry enough to obfuscate whatever's under the blur, but not so blurry that maybe they can't tell it was text, for example. Now, there's a slick magnify tool that can be an oval or a rectangle if you like that sort of thing. There's a paintbrush and a highlighter. All of the annotations you can make in Folga can be moved forward and back as layers, which can also be handy. Now, Folga doesn't support pinch to zoom on the screenshots, but it does have a drop-down menu with different magnification levels. I found that a little bit tedious, and then I discovered you can use some pretty standard keystrokes to change the zoom level. Command plus and minus will zoom back in and out, and Command 0 gets you back to 100%, and my favorite, Command 1, fits the image to the available space in the window. Now, when you export your guides, you'll probably want to have titles for each step and some explanation of what to do on this step. The text tools in Folga are extremely extensive. You can use all of the standard heading levels and things like, bold and italics and right-left justification. But it also has numbered and bulleted lists and a checkbox option, which can be really great when someone's trying to follow along with a guide. Exported guides can be simple PDFs, but you can also export as rich HTML. And because of that, there are even cooler options in creating the textual documentation. Folga supports quoting, code blocks, rich links, and even embedded videos. Isn't that crazy? On the left side of the Folga interface, you can see a column of thumbnails for your guide, or they can be in more of a list view. By default, each step is numbered, and you can choose whether to show these step numbers in the export of your finished guide. As you become more proficient with Folga and you realize how much more fun it is to make these tutorial guides, you may find yourself explaining more complex topics and may find the need to create sub-steps in a process. No worries, Folga has you covered there too. If you click and drag a step onto another step, it indents and gets automatically renumbered as a sub-step. Folga supports 7 different methods of export, and I've mentioned a couple of these, but let me list them off. PDF, PowerPoint, rich HTML, Markdown, JSON, Word, and PowerPoint. I've tested them all, and I have to say for the digital age, rich HTML is fantastic. If you're living in 1987 and want to print out documents, I suppose formats like Word are acceptable, but the rich HTML export even allows you to create one file with all of the text elements, images, annotations, embedded videos, and links. If you're a CSS guru, you can even create your own styles for the export. Now, Alexi provides examples of each of the different export formats, which you can view over at folga.me. I provided a screenshot in the show notes of one of mine where I was documenting how to create a site-specific token for the Github interface for Sourcetree. That was a clumsy sentence. Now, Alexi provides examples of the different export formats, which you can view over at formats. Now, Alexi provides examples of each of the different export formats, which you can view over at folga.me. I threw a screenshot of one of mine in the show notes of specifically of that rich text HTML version that I was really fond of. I was documenting how to create a site-specific token for GitHub within the Sourcetree interface. All right, I've mentioned a few times how incredibly responsive to constructive suggestions Alexi is. I have perhaps the best example of that, and it has to do with export and backup. When I work on videos for Screencasts Online, I do them in a separate account on my Mac. It helps me keep focus, and I can tailor the environment so it's consistent for each tutorial. I was creating demonstration guides in Folga in my Screencasts Online account, but I wanted a completed real guide to show off the export options. In my normal user account, I used Folga's backup option to create a standalone FLGG backup file. I moved that backup to the Screencasts Online account, and then I restored it into my demo library over on that other account. It worked like a champ. But things went haywire when I went to export a PDF of any of my guides. I got an error that showed I had a permissions problem, and it suggested I contacted the developer. Well, I had no intention of bothering Alexi if I could avoid it, and luckily I'm pretty nerdy, and I figured out what was wrong. When Alexi wrote the export function for PDFs, he set it up to write to a temp folder inside the package contents of the app itself at /application/folga.app/content/temp. Well, since the Allison user account had done the original install of Folga, that meant Allison had the permissions to write to that temp folder, but the Screencast Online account did not. I did a bit of work in the terminal to give both accounts permissions, and I was on my way. I waited to bother Alexi since I'd gotten past the problem for the video, but this last week I decided to suggest to him that he choose a different location for the temp file, that's really a non-standard place to put it. I said, I don't know, maybe put it in the user's home directory. The response I got from Alexi just illustrates so beautifully why he's one of my favorite developers. He wrote, "Wow, just wow! I just checked this, and you're absolutely right. I have accidentally defined temp path relative to the executable and not the proper temp path as in /var/folders where temp files should be stored. And once I use the correct path, PDF generation is like 30 to 50% faster. I'm literally this GIF right now." And he sent a GIF of somebody having their mind blown. He said, "Thank you so much for this. I can't express how cool it is what you found." Okay, isn't that awesome? I was pretty tickled that I had solved a problem for him, and it was great that it speeds up PDF creation because it explained why that one method took way longer than any of the other exports. The bottom line is that Folga is a tool that solves a real problem that many of us have, and it's literally the only tool in the space of creating documentation in an easy way with annotated screenshots and text explanations with beautiful export options. Folga is not a subscription. It's also cross-platform for Windows and Mac. Now, Folga isn't perfect, and I do have a running list of suggestions and wee bugs that Alexi is working through, but it's a relatively young product, and it gets better and better with every single release. Please go check it out at folga.me. There we go.
Very good. I threw in Alexi's GIF.
The GIF. Yeah, wasn't that great? Okay, so I'm going to read you guys one last thing from him just for the live audience. I sent him the link to the blog post I just read you, and he wrote back, "Frankly speaking, I can't pick right words to express my gratitude to you for this heartwarming and touching article. Thank you so much for it. Nobody else so far ever did anything like this for me, and I really admire your attention to my work, and thank you for understanding my situation. I will now go and answer your previous email," and this part is in all bold, "but the thing I want to say is that I want to do something for you in return. Please tell me what I can do or how can I help you in any way." Can you believe that? So I picked something. I'm going to tell him I want him to name one of the bug fixes after me.
One of the bugs that you point out?
Yeah. I mean, Podfeet PDF export, or that'd be a fun one. The other one is right now if you go into the settings and back out, the window changes size, and he's actually rewriting the settings section to be more standalone so it doesn't affect the other window, which I think is going to be better. But
how about export PDF location bug?
It's yeah, location. I'll take credit for it being faster. That would be fun. A pod bug. Anyway, can you believe that? That guy is.
That's impressive.
I would love to meet him someday. When are we going to Germany, Steve?
We need to.
Yeah, I think so. We could go see Klaus. All right. So that was Folga. All right. Now we're going to do QD Laser. So let me do there's something I'm supposed to do right now. What was it? Copy link. Copy. And there we go. Could get your name in the about credits. Yeah, like what
Steve?
Steve Harris did in Feeder. Yeah. Actually, I'm sure I couldn't get him to say thank you to Allison for being generally annoying, which is what Steve said. That's what I want, though. I want it to be exactly that.
Steve Harris.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, not you. Hang on one quick second here. All right, let's change gears and listen to another CSUN Assistive Tech Conference interview with QD Laser. Okay. Go find CSUN, QD Laser. Eight. Ooh, I brought it way down. Okay, let me check these section changes here. Out at folga.me. All right, let's change gears and listen to another CSUN Assistive Tech Conference interview with QD Laser. I'm with Samuel Pressgraves in the QD Laser booth, and he's got a... Is that redundant for me to say who it's with?
I don't think so. It's a short name.
Okay. Go to the end of that. Chapter mark. Then it'll be pledge break. Anybody else starting to think if Frank's computer's haunted?
Yeah, I wonder often.
I'm just asking, you know. Copy. Pledge break. All right. We have two heroes this week. The awesome Chris Stearns became a brand new patron of the Podfeed podcast. He went over to podfeed.com/Patreon and he looked at the different options. He looked at how you could pledge per show published to the NosillaCast and then the options to set a monthly limit. And he chose the latter at a dollar amount that was right for him. It means a lot to me that he decided to show his appreciation for what he learns here in a monetary way. As if getting Chris's pledge wasn't enough, the awesome Kevin Alder, also known as Steve's wingman in the live chat room, decided to increase his existing pledge. He does so much for the show, from constantly making fun of me to taking written excuses from the live audience when they can't attend, and basically being chief morale officer for the live show, and now he goes and increases his pledge. I don't care what they say about him. I think he's a gentleman and a scholar. Thank you both, Chris and Kevin, for your support of the shows.
Hey, that's my wingman you're talking about.
I don't care what you guys say about him. I've got a big typo. Kevin, he does so much for the show. Live audience when they can't attend. Boost for the live show. Now he goes increase. I swear, I just saw a typo. Just paying the shipping for the computers you owe him. Hey, Steve's got a ship date on his Mac Studio.
March 30th.
That's Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
Wednesday. I swear there were two major typos in those paragraphs, and I can't find them.
In your Patreon?
Yeah. Oh, well. You did give them my address? All right, well, we will just go on. Oh, now we get a... this is going to be a fun one. Ron Hybe, who has done reviews before, promised me this review, oh gosh, it's got to be, November. It's a review of the Signia hearing aids. And does he introduce himself? That is the question. Let's take a listen. Get a really good job on these. It's long, but it's really good. Kevin, for your support of the shows.
Hi, this is Ron Hybe, and I'm bringing to you today a review of the Signia hearing aids that my wife purchased close to a year ago now. I feel a bit strange about giving a review for hearing aids when I do not actually have a hearing impairment. This is about my wife's hearing aids, but since I am my family's CTSO, Chief Tech Support Officer, I do have a perspective on anything tech in the household. And modern-day hearing aids are a whole lot more tech than a microphone, amplifier, and speaker.
Okay, I'm going to play the beginning again because I just turned on a noise thing that I hope gets rid of that swishing noise.
Hi, this is Ron Hybe, and I'm bringing to you today a review of the...
Wow, that noise reduction is so good. I can't believe how well that works. I literally click a button. I go, noise reduce, and it goes, okay, I got it. Don't
Can
worry
you
about
give
it.
us before and after? Or is it
Let's
hard to
see.
redo?
No. I think I can...
Just like click
yeah,
on,
just
off,
turn
on,
it
off
off.
so we can hear it.
Yeah, so listen closely to the high frequency. It sounds almost like he's got a like a down jacket on, like if you rubbed your hand on a down jacket. So listen to this.
Hi, this is Ron Hybe, and I'm bringing to you today a review of the Signia hearing aids that my wife purchased close to a year ago now. I feel
Yeah.
a bit strange about giving a review for hearing.
Yeah,
Okay,
definitely
and
hear
so
it.
Now
Not
let
immediately,
me
but a
turn this
little
on.
later.
I have to start back up because it needs to sample.
Hi, this is Ron Hybe, and I'm bringing to you today a review of the Signia hearing aids that my wife purchased close to a year ago now. I feel a bit strange about giving a review for hearing aids.
I guess it's not completely gone,
It's
is it?
yeah, it's there, but it's better.
I can turn it up a little bit. Let's see.
A year ago now. I feel a bit strange about giving a review for hearing aids when I do not actually have a hearing impairment. This is about my wife's hearing.
I think it's pretty good. Yeah, the end of this review, it's all very favorable, but at the end of the review, she trades them in.
Did
Well,
she say why?
it's still good though. It has to do with fiddliness, and they were just a little too fiddly for her. But it is very interesting, and it's really well done. All right, let me listen to how he folds.
They will be made for
Finished
iPhone or even have Bluetooth capabilities, and I will not be involved in the purchase decision because these last several months have taught me that I do not want to be to blame for helping choose exceptionally fiddly critical technology for my wife.
Okay, let me finish this off.
That I do not want to be to blame for helping choose exceptionally fiddly critical technology for my wife.
Well, thank you, Ron. I'm sorry that didn't work out in the end game, but it certainly was interesting for all of us. I think the NosillaCastaways probably have a higher tolerance level for fiddliness for ourselves than we do for people we support, and I completely understand why you don't want to be in charge of that for your wife ever again. Thanks so much for doing this. This was fantastic. All right, maybe he was wearing corduroys. Yeah, you get his ending thing, right? All right. I don't think I need to introduce the fact that this is another CSUN interview, right? Probably go right into it.
Probably not.
I mean, once I've done one, you know there's another one coming.
Right.
All righty. Let's hear how that one goes in. Actually, CSUN. So that one goes here. That one goes here. And I pull that one in here. Oh, come on. I am excited for Steve and his new Mac. That's going to be fun. How old is your 27-inch iMac?
What year? 2017.
Yeah. 2017?
Yeah.
Is that 5 years?
Yeah.
And they
About
gave
5
him
years.
$640 for it.
Yeah. Apple trade in.
Probably could have gotten more, but
Oh, I'm sure it could have gotten more, but this is so convenient.
and it's actually it's harder to sell a desktop.
Than it is a laptop or a phone. Yeah. Phone.
Yeah,
would be
last time I had to
easiest.
sell one, I just got everybody just went, "Why is it a desktop? I want a laptop." Oh, I forgot to put my light up. And I forgot that light. Oh well. Let's see how this goes. Thanks so much for doing this. This was fantastic. Anat Noman is here from Real Thing AI to tell us about Real Sam Pocket. What problem are we solving today?
We're solving a problem of accessibility to communication for folks who would like to use smartphones but cannot easily use commercially available phones because it's too overwhelming for them.
Okay, so maybe seniors, people with cognitive disabilities, maybe?
So our phone has been designed from ground up for people who are visually impaired. And most of our users are seniors. So we're new to the US, but we have been selling Real Sam Pocket for 4 years in the UK.
Okay, and I assume this is an Android phone?
This is an Android this is an Android phone with our software on it. So when the users interact with it, they don't see Android, they cannot escape to it, they just use our software.
I see, so they can't accidentally get out and see the guts of a regular OS. They're in Real Sam.
That's correct, and the reason we do that is because we have tap and talk functionality, which makes it very easy to operate. So all users have to do is tap on the screen, tell the device what they want it to do, and the phone will do it for them.
All right, well, let's take a look here. So what are we looking at? Describe this. So I think I told you guys last week that one of the ways I always have to tell people, make sure that you describe everything in detail. And what I started telling them was just pretend that listeners are blind.
It works.
Yeah, it kind of works.
They get a little confused when you say, when I come up with a video camera, I'm recording this, and you say, well, we do an audio podcast. Well,
yeah,
we also record videos of product interviews.
Wait, Frank's leaving us, huh?
Yeah, I don't think his computer's treating him well.
Maybe you have a power problem. All righty. Well, I'm going to close the show out here.
All right.
Very cool. Thank you very much, Anat. This is really interesting.
Thank you for your time.
Well, that's going to wind us up for this week. Did you know you can email me anytime you like at allison@podfeed.com, and I will probably answer you. If you have a question or a suggestion, or you want to do a review like the awesome Ron Hybe did for us this week, just send it on over. You can follow me on Twitter @podfeed. If you want to join in the fun of this conversation, you can join our Slack community, podfeed.com/Slack, which is fantastic because you can talk to me and all of the other lovely Nosilla castaways. Everybody's in there helping each other, putting funny stuff over in Delete Me. We talk about security in the Security Bits channel. We've got the Programming by Stealth channel. It's so much fun in there. Remember, everything good starts with podfeed.com. You can support the show at podfeed.com/Patreon, like Chris and Kevin, or you can do a one-time donation at podfeed.com/PayPal. And if you want to join in the fun of the live show, head on over to podfeed.com/live on Sunday nights at 5 p.m. Pacific time and join the friendly and enthusiastic Nosilla castaways like Frank and Michael from Japan. Thanks for listening and stay subscribed. Well, so much for winging it.
It came out okay.
You got the point, right?
Right.
Of course I don't answer your emails. Jeez, why would I? From Japan. Thanks for listening and stay subscribed. There we go. All right. I want to, after I hit the export button, I want to demonstrate, this is sort of extra credit if you want to stay, that shows off finished early because we had so much recorded content, but I wanted to go over for Jill what I'm doing with Loopback and with Hindenburg, if that's okay, if you can humor Jill and me, because she's starting to work with these tools. So I think if I interrupt, let's see, I think if I put something on top of Hindenburg, you can see it. Is that correct? Like, do you see? Yes, you can see Discord when I put it on top, right? Okay.
Do that again.
It's kind of hard to see it because it's the same color. Hang on. Why is that not lifting there?
Yes.
Okay. So I start with Loopback. So with Loopback, I've got something called Al's mic, which is simply a pass-through device. All right. And so it shows pass-through here. You can ignore Safari. In fact, I don't know why that's there. I sometimes I throw things into sessions, but so Al's mic is just a pass-through device. That's its one job. And now, you're going to get to see, probably I'm not allowed to show you this. This is a session in the brand new unreleased version of Audio Hijack. Let me slide that over just a smidge so you can see it. So we take my audio from my microphone, Elgato Wave XLR, and I run it through a couple of filters here, along here. I can see how loud I am, how many dBs. I should just be hitting 9 dB, about there. There's a recorder block that I don't normally use, but I've got the Elgato Wave XLR sending some of the audio to my headphones so I can monitor my own voice. And then you see it go to Al's mic, which is that virtual source that I just created down here in Loopback. All right. So now, once I've got Al's mic, the audio is coming into Al's mic. I've got this one called YTL input that stands for YouTube Live Input. So it takes Al's mic and Hindenburg and shoves them both into another virtual source called YouTube Live Input. Now, the reason that's important is for all of you guys. So if you look at Discord, if I go into user settings and I go into, where'd it go? Voice and video, the input device is YTL input. So every single time you can't hear Hindenburg and you're yelling at me, you can't hear Alistair's playback, it's because I have forgotten that at some point in time this got changed, and it's just, I don't know, it might be set to just Al's mic instead of YouTube Live Input. So the way and YTL input is what I also send over to Mimo Live. So that's how Steve gets it to shove it into the video. There. How's that? Did that explain it, Jill? I can send screenshots too if you like. Actually, there's a diagram. There's always a diagram. Oh, Kevin's got an opinion. Let's see. There is a diagram of all this stuff. Where is it? It's at, let's see, SP for search pod feed. And I'm going to look for live show setup. That's using that extension I told you all about. Okay, here we go. Yeah. So if you look at this diagram, Jill, it might be out of date. No, there you go. So it's got Al's mic here and the YTL input, and it shows Hindenburg, and that's gotten replaced. So I need to replace that. It shows the audio hijack piece of it and Discord, and it shows Hindenburg. So yeah, this whole...
Also, Logitech has been replaced and the interface, audio interface.
Oh yeah, you're right. All right, I gotta set that up. So there, you can see the whole thing. Oh yeah, and it says Mimo Live. There's a 16-page document with screenshots that I did in Folga, by the way. So this is what I actually use when I can't remember when something goes wrong in Mimo Live. I've got 16 pages printed out that I go to here. I could go to the online documentation, but I just keep this handy right there. So that is the lesson for today, and I can't believe nothing else went wrong.
Yeah,
this was pretty good, Steve.
It turned out okay, given the troubles we were having earlier.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Oh, chapter mark. Good job, Kevin. I did an export and I forgot to check.
Good job.
Okay, let's see. I've got 6.
6. That's what I have.
You have 6?
I do.
All right. Well, unless you guys want to watch me wrap up the show and do all the other bits, that is probably all you want to see. Let's see. I think if I press this live show over button, will that quit you guys?
Wait, what are you doing?
No, I've got a button that it's my internal live shows over.
Oh, okay.
It might quit Discord, though. I should probably not push it if I think I'm going to do it. You can't quit us.
No, you hang up.
No, you hang up. All right, just in case it is going to hang up. No, I think we should just kill the go live. That should be the end of it. All right, everybody. Goodbye. Bye, Rose.